friends. Welcome to Story Behind Podcast. This is the show for people who love hearing a good story and who believe the world could use more positivity. We're the team behind God Updates and God Too, and we hope these weekly short stories will brighten your day.
Expectant mom fears no heartbeat when doctor makes strange face, but there are actually 4. Written by Julie Provost. Read by Julie Provost. Jenny Marr went in for an ultrasound and thought there was no heartbeat, but soon found out she was pregnant with spontaneous identical quadruplets. Yep, 4 babies. Jenny and her husband Chris are from Grapevine, Texas, and met in a local pub. They had been trying to have a baby for several months before they got pregnant in 2019. When Jenny and her husband Chris went in for their first ultrasound, they were shocked. At first, Jenny noticed a strange look on the doctor's face. She then became worried that something was wrong. "I was like, oh no, there's no heartbeat," Jenny recalled. The worried mom-to-be asked if there was an issue and got an answer she certainly wasn't expecting. Jenny's doctor, Dr. Lauren Murray, an OBGYN at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital, Dallas, reassured them that there was a heartbeat. But there was also other news. She goes, "Y'all, there are 3 babies in there." And we were just absolutely floored. Finding out that you're going to have more than 1 baby is quite a shock, and hearing that you're having 3 is even more so. But Jenny and Chris were about to find out another piece of news. A week after their first ultrasound, they went to a maternal fetal medicine specialist for a follow-up and did another ultrasound. And that's when they found out that they were not just having 3 babies, but 4. Jenny and Chris are only children, and don't know of any multiples in their family, so having spontaneous identical quadruplets is incredibly rare. According to Dr. Murray and her colleagues, identical spontaneous quadruplet births occur in 1 in 11 million or 1 in 15 million births. Dr. Murray went on to say, "It's unbelievable. It'll never happen again in my career." All 4 babies shared the same placenta, which made the pregnancy more complicated. And as most expected parents would be, Jenny and Chris were a bit worried. The risk was that one of the babies can develop stronger and basically take away from the other babies, Chris explained. The doctor also told them that the babies could need surgery. Labor began at 28.5 weeks, right at the start of COVID-19. Hospitals were changing their policies and things weren't exactly normal. Jenny was worried about how all of that would affect her labor and birth. "For the first time during my pregnancy, I anticipated the worst," she said. "Maybe we were going to have sick babies, and they were going to be in the NICU." God watched over Jenny and the 4 babies as the C-section went well, and the spontaneous identical quadruplets entered the world on March 15th, 2020. First came Harrison at 2 pounds, 6 ounces, then Hardy at 2 pounds, 10 ounces. Henry was third at 2 pounds, 6.7 ounces, and Hudson rounded up the 4 babies at 1 pound, 15 ounces. All 4 were born in just 3 minutes. "We called them our baby birds," Jenny said, "because they really look like baby birds." The boys needed to stay in the NICU for about 10 weeks, and 3 of them did need oxygen. With 4 identical babies, you might be wondering how the parents would be able to tell them apart. They each have little itty-bitty characteristics, Chris explained. "When we sit down and look at them, we can figure out who they are, but if you just look at them from a distance, they all look the same." 4 years later, the sweet brown-haired boys just celebrated their 4th birthday party. They appear to be doing well and enjoying life as young toddlers, keeping their parents plenty busy. Each baby is a blessing from God, and having 4 at once can seem a bit overwhelming. But that also means 4 more blessings to love and adore. Many blessings to the sweet family as they raise these 4 boys. "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Before thou comest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." Jeremiah 1:5. Woman shares her husband's wedding vows, and they're so beautiful. Good luck not crying. Written by Julie Provost. Read by Julie Provost. A woman on TikTok shares her husband's wedding vows, which are pretty beautiful. His words will make you cry. Caitlin McGee answers the question asked on TikTok about what people mean when they say marriage is hard. She begins by talking about how she had a sort of skewed idea of what love should be, which is something a lot of people might be able to relate to. With the way the media and social media are, we might not have a full picture of true love or what love in a marriage should look like. Caitlin brings out her husband's wedding vows as she believes that they can explain the answer to the question that has been asked. She starts with, "I didn't sit back and take inventory of your qualities and say, this ticks all the boxes, done. I was drawn to you and profoundly lucky that you were drawn to me." The beautiful wedding vows go on to talk about what type of work marriage is, how it is not work like drudgery or an early morning commute, but the same type of work that artists talk about when it comes to their painting. It's the most important work of my life, our partnership, and I cherish it. What a profound thing to say. We often hear that marriage is work, but what does that mean on a day-to-day basis? Caitlin's husband knows what he's talking about and is able to summarize what the work of marriage is really like. The vows end with, "It's just that life is long, and I know that loving well is a thing you do, not a lottery you win." Such poetic words, and Caitlin gets choked up thinking about them. She explains that the way people look at hard is different, that marriage isn't difficult hard, but it's challenging hard because life is challenging, that the person that you marry should make all of life a bit easier. She ends her video by saying, "Marrying someone good, that's all, and then it's easy." The truth of marriage is that it can be hard work, but not in a bad way. Marriage is a sacrament from God and allows us to walk hand in hand with someone else. We don't have to go through this life alone. We have to work at our marriages, but in the end, finding the right person will allow us to experience the joy that comes with the day-to-day love and contentment that marriage brings. What therefore God has joined together, let not man put asunder. Mark 10:9.
Thank you so much for listening to Story Behind Podcast. We're really glad you joined us for this week's story. To see photos and videos that may have been referenced in this episode, check out the links in the show notes. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe to our podcast, and please tell a friend about us. We'd also love it if you'd rate us and leave us a review. It really does help more people find us. Story Behind is a Salem Web Network production.